everybody, it's Sam Amico here with another edition of Hoops Wire Live from Burke Lakefront Airport Studios, which I have a much easier time of saying than our usual host at Full Court Cleveland, Rafa Hernandez-Brito. One name I love saying is Daniel Booby Gibson, who is here again after you were in Houston for a little bit. Is that right?
Yeah,
Texas,
I got my new Meta glasses for my birthday, so I'm over here. I'm actually recording this thing right now while we chopping it up. But
oh boy,
yeah, I got to go home. I got to go home for my suits and boots party that you guys were poking fun at on the show. But it was amazing. I got to see the family. You know, the big 4-0.
Yeah. Big 4-0. How's it feel? I remember those days many, many years ago.
I think I've just gotten to the point now where it's like you got all the answers to the test and you got the canvas in front of you to kind of paint it how you want to paint it. So
sure.
I'm just excited to be at that point. You know, real sophisticated these days.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Real elegant.
Yeah, that's great. And that hasn't changed. But just for the record, I was not one of the people making fun of boots and suits. That was all Roth.
We know who it is. We know who's
it's
the
suits
culprit.
and boots, Ryan?
Huh?
Is it?
Yeah, it's
Oh.
suits and boots.
See, Roth's been saying it wrong, like he says everything else wrong, and he messed me up.
That's what he does.
Thankfully, you know who filled in for you last week on
Always producing Ryan?
Always Producing Ryan.
My guy, I love that for him. I always want him to get in front of the camera and pop it. He's a smart guy over there.
That's right, yeah.
Got a
Anyway,
lot of
here on the Hoops Wire Live, brought to you by nobody. We generally will talk about the Cavaliers, but before we get to that real fast, Booby, tell us about the Richmond Heights, which is a little bit outside of the 330.
Yeah.
But the Richmond Heights team, obviously, I mentioned this earlier, my CVCA Royals went on to beat St. Vincent St. Mary, which was a big win in the tournament.
Yeah.
But Richmond Heights, tell
sir.
us your involvement again with the program and what they did.
Man, I'm so happy for these kids. This summer, Branson Wright, who's a writer,
he
came to me about a Richmond Heights opportunity where he said the coach was taking a new position at a different school, and a lot of the players were going to D1, and all the rest of them were transferring. So he's like, so the AD hit me like, Booby, we starting from ground zero. We would love for you to have like your philosophies, help us find a coaching staff, and kind of help us implement a program that you like and want to be a part of. And I was like, man, you know, I'm moving back to Cleveland. Great, I'm going in. And so I went in. I started practicing with these kids this summer, and right then and there, we got together and we said, look, we're not gonna be the most athletic team. We're not gonna be the biggest team. We're not gonna be the strongest team. But what we can be is the toughest team and the most together team if we start working on it right now. And man, we pushed them kids all summer. All year, everybody doubted them when the rankings came out. They was like completely out of everything. But we put it on the board and just said, nobody believes in us. Nobody thinks we can do it. That's why we're going to do it. Playoffs rolled around. We just started knocking people off, man.
Yeah.
And now we're in the Elite Eight. And just seeing the joy that these kids have in the locker room, and even seeing the belief going into these games where we rank number 14 and we playing against number 2, and these kids literally in the locker room believe they can get it done. And that's a testament to the coaching staff and just a testament to pouring into kids and understanding that that's all they need. And so many beautiful things been happening this season, man. So appreciate you asking me about that, because just seeing that growth has been special to watch.
Well, what you said at the start was what I was thinking. You know, all the coaches left, the kids all transferred to bigger schools, and it seemed like, all year Richmond Heights, you know, all of a sudden I wouldn't say forgotten, but just not in the top. So that it's been a fantastic run, you know, regardless of how it ends or where it ends. Those kids have so much to be proud of. So.
Oh man, they're district champs,
right?
Nobody in their wildest dreams expected this team to be district champs when they lost pretty much their entire team.
Right.
There's one kid that came off of JV that stayed with that roster.
That's pretty
And
remarkable.
they one game away from state.
Yeah. So, all right. Speaking of people with heart and having some success here since the All-Star break, sans the loss to the Orlando Magic, which as I said on Full Court Cleveland, you're not going to go 82-0. I thought they played pretty well, the Cavs.
Sure.
Big picture-wise, though, it sounds like, or it just looks like this looks like a team that, has a lot of belief.
Yeah.
And, fans have doubts. Okay, they're not, Boston beat them in Cleveland. They lost to some other, they lost to Orlando. They lost to somebody else or OKC. It's like, are they up there in that elite group?
Yeah.
Is kind of what the question is right now. And what do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. And the question should be there because it's up to us to get out there and prove it. But every game by game, I see us continuing to grow and trend in the right direction. Even in the losses that we have, you look at the Boston loss or the OKC loss, there were things that we learned as a team. And I hate to go to say we don't have our cast of characters that we will have because it's next man up. But again, we haven't. And so we're still trying to get a fully healthy roster. We're still getting guys acclimated. James and Donovan are still kind of learning when one guy should be aggressive versus when the other. And so I think that tandem has been growing game by game with their comfort level. And by the time the playoff hits, like I said before, I want us to be trending and not already peaked.
Right.
And I think that's the direction that we're headed in now down the stretch, as long as we can continue to get healthy.
Yeah, and speaking of which, we'll talk about Max Strus in a minute, but James Harden right now, in that Orlando game, probably his best game.
Yep.
At least you could tell he recognized, okay, we need baskets, and he's a distributor first since he's been here. It's like a whole different version of James Harden, who's always been a good distributor, but here it's like my priority is setting everybody else up.
Yep.
And then against Orlando, it was like, okay, I got to start scoring and getting us buckets, and he did that. And we saw the old James Harden, or the guy he was known for so much before.
Yeah, and that's what I meant about them both those guys, both of our superstars making that adjustment together. As James comes in, he's like, okay, I don't want to mess anything up. Let me make sure you get the ball, you get the ball, you get the ball. But then all the guys are looking like, hey, we want the ball, but we still need you to be James. And so that's that fine line that James is towing. And I think last game was him turning it up offensively. I think he'll continue to. We won't need that from him every night, but we'll need him to be aggressive in making plays for his teammates and making the game easier, because that's been the best thing I've seen since he's been here. The other guys on the floor all feel comfortable and in place, including our guy, Donovan Mitchell. He's scoring at a higher clip. And I think now, as he continues to get more healthy coming down the stretch, he'll have a ton of more energy to go to another level in the playoffs. And I think that's what fans that we have to understand is now, without the load of some playmaking, he'll have hopefully more energy coming down the stretch to take over games scoring-wise. Yeah,
it's nice when you can, conserve some of that energy by kicking it to a guy like James Harden. Yeah, and you have every, all the faith in the world he's going to hit that shot. The thing I loved about Harden right now is he kind of looks like that guy who shows up at the Y and you're picking teams and you're like, all right, I got the old guy. Yeah. And then he comes out and just does all those tricks and everybody's like, where did this come from? And I mean, we all know who James Harden was, so that's not disrespectful. It's more like this guy looks, the way he plays and the style he plays, right now at this part in his career, it kind of reminds me going way back to the way Larry Bird did things. Absolutely. Which is, you kind of look at him and you think, and then he comes out, and next thing you know, he's killing you.
He got 30, No, when I watch James and I watch all of our superstars go through their prime and their careers, and at one point it's all about them. I need my numbers. I need to go down the Hall of Fame. I got to be that guy. But then you reach a point where you have all the numbers, you have all the accolades, and it's like, what's missing from this journey? And it's that brotherhood that you get from winning that championship with your guys when it's not about you. And so to your point, I think that's where he is. He's at a point now where whatever it takes for this team to win, I'm going to do that. And that it showed up when in taking 8 shots here or 10 shots here and still getting guys the ball and pushing the ball up the floor. So I think we'll continue to adjust and he'll continue to find that line. But what I do want to see is Big Four continue to get his rhythm and be aggressive now because you have that playmaker. And then I also want to see Donovan say, okay, we got the playmaker. I'm finna go get 40, 50, you know. That takes us to another level when everybody, not just stars in our role, our great players be superstars in their roles.
Right. So, all that said, we're hearing talk that Max Strus could be back within the next week or make a season debut within the next week. Now, that's a great thing to have.
Logjam.
Creates a little bit of a conundrum there. Kenny Atkinson has said, I'm probably going to lose some sleep over these lineups because you have, you know, so many guys that you've played at that number 3 spot.
Yeah.
When Jared Allen and Evan Mobley are both out there and Donovan and James Harden are both out there, you know, now you have Jalen Tyson, Dean Wade, who can play the 3, Sam Merrill, who can play the 3, and now you're throwing in Max Strus. You know, where as a, you know, where do you go with this?
Look, I would not want to be Kenny, right? you said it before. I call him the mad scientist, but this is a job where you really got to get in the lab, analyze who you playing against postseason, make it about matchups. But it's really a tough thing to do. And when I think about it from a player's perspective, even harder, because you don't know when that time is going to come when coach is going to tell you, I need you to go in there and play and be prepared. You don't know. So it's up to those guys to be professional and stay ready. But they've all shown it all year. And so now it's the time for when we were missing guys and guys were out of the lineup and hurt and we had to depend on these guys, that's when they were getting their footing and preparing for these moments. So you hope they learned the lessons they needed to learn. And whenever Kenny calls that number, they ready to go. I tell you about my story. It's tough to do, but you gotta be ready when coach calls your name.
Yeah. And the good news is guys like Merrill, Strus when he's healthy, Jalen Tyson, who am I forgetting in there? Maybe Dean Wade.
You got Tomlin. You got Craig Porter Jr. You got even Proctor has he
the guys. Well, like the guys like Merrill and Tyson and Strus, those guys can play multiple spots. So it's like just because we got Max Strus back doesn't mean you're going to the bench, Jalen Tyson. You might be on the floor with him at some time.
Absolutely.
So that's the thing. We've seen Kenny Atkinson run out a lot of these 4 guardish kind of lineups and a big guy, you know, where he's had Dean Wade at center.
I see him try to throw James at that 4 down there,
right?
Because he does play great post defense. He can hold you up down there. But then when it comes to the rebounds, when I see us get smaller, that's the only thing that concerns me when we go with the shooting lineups.
Yeah,
our ability to be able to rebound teams kind of pound us a little bit.
Yeah, particularly for a Cavs team that has not been great rebounding, but at the same time, people don't realize how much Harden really helps in that area as a backcourt player. Like you said, sometimes he'll end up playing the 4 because of that.
Yeah, he gets stuck down there on switches, but he holds his own. Like
he does.
He got that grown man, old man strength right now. You ain't gonna move him. You might be able to go over the top of him, but what I've enjoyed watching is his effort on defense. You know, he really he understands that this team is in a position where he can't be a liability out there on the floor. And I see him give effort, block shots, hold guys up. He might not have the quick laterals that he used to, but the effort is all that matters. And if you're smart, we got the defensive player of the year back there. We got some 7-footers that can make up some ground for you.
Right, exactly. So right now the Cavs are in the number 4 seed as we speak in the Eastern Conference, but I think they're only 3 games ahead of the 7 seed.
It's just all jumbled together.
It really is.
I can't even because the Pistons just lost 5 games in a row.
4 games in a row. 4 to 5, yeah.
So I know they're falling back. Every time I look up, New York is losing the game.
Yeah.
And then Boston just added Tatum. So I don't know. That's scary, but I don't know just how effective or mentally confident you can be going into the playoffs after about 10 to 20 games. So it's a toss-up in the East, you know? And I think the Cavs just got to look at it that way. We can't really look around the league and hope for a record or hope to play against this team because you just don't know. You got to make it about you. And 15 guys we got in our locker room that can play.
Yes.
They literally all can play.
Yeah.
And try to figure out how we can get our chemistry going and get a run going to finish the season.
Yeah, as a player, would you be at all like looking at the standings, or do you just say just keep doing what we're doing and do it to our best and let the chips fall where they may?
Yeah, no, I never was a standings guy. I really never paid attention to it unless somebody said it. Yeah. It was just more about us in the locker room. I watched enough basketball to know. I used to always watch the games, but as far as like where they were and seeing, we wanted to smoke. It didn't matter what arena or wherever they was at, we was willing to go in there and take something.
Yeah, and in today's NBA, you have to win on the road in the playoffs. You got to win at least one road playoff game. So seeding doesn't. I mean, it makes it nice if you have a game 7 because it's in your building. If you get that. But other than that, you got to win games on the road in the playoffs.
The champions, man, the champions have no problem going on the road to get it done. A lot of times they're better on the road than at home because you get that you against the world mentality. So it's gonna be a fun playoff, man. I've been watching the entire league, and I was telling my dad, man, Victor Wembanyama has slowly become, I believe, my favorite player in the league to watch right now.
Yeah.
Just his mentality about his approach to the game is literally made that entire team approach the game in a different way, and they're so fun to watch because they're just carefree and they play hard the Spurs way. I was thinking about the West, and I wanted to give him his props for reminding me of that Kobe Bryant energy where I'm gonna do whatever it takes to win. Lay my body on the line every night. It's been fun to see.
Yeah, if he can stay on the floor, that's going to be a problem for the rest of the NBA for a long time.
Because he started to play angry too. And the stronger he get, boy, they better leave that alien alone. He's not from here.
Right. Well, okay. Before we go, I was going to say you mentioned during the Full Court Cleveland show when you played a game against the Wizards. You weren't really expecting maybe to go in, and Mike Brown called your number. Why don't you tell us about that? Because that's kind of like what the Cavs have to be ready for in the playoffs, or players anyway.
Yeah, I'm literally telling you, that night we were playing cards. And I stayed up late in my head thinking, like, I'm not getting in the game. I ain't played yet. And before you know it, Eric Snow got in foul trouble. And I'm thinking as Mike Brown coming out, he normally grabs Damon or anybody else. And he said, Booby, get out there and stop that motherfucker. And he was talking about the hibachi at the time, Gilbert Arenas.
Yeah.
And,
you were like, really?
But to your point, I say that jokingly, but I was ready. I was ready. I stayed up that night, but I had been practicing and preparing and hoping for an opportunity to get out there and play. And obviously, there ain't no stopping Agent Zero, but I did guard him well. But what happened on the flip side is he didn't and they didn't respect me. And so Coach was able to see I was going to get some open shots with Bron out there, and that ended up being why I played for the rest of the playoffs. Fast forward to Game 6, it happens because when Coach asked, was I ready that moment, I was ready to get in there and do what I needed to do.
So that's where Booby Gibson's legendary run with the Cavs began, right here on Hoops Wire Live. So
for sure.
Booby, thanks again for joining. I know all the viewers are way happier to see you here with me than just me.
Man, you always gas me. They love kicking it with you. But I tell you, anytime I'm in town, I enjoy chopping it up, man. Anything Cavs, you know, you my guy.
I appreciate that. All right, well, until next week, thanks so much for joining. Cavs have a lot of road games coming up. They've got Dallas on Friday night in Dallas, then Dallas at home Sunday, and then I believe at Milwaukee after that. So thanks for following.